Hello and welcome to another video from Natasha Lee, and this week I'm bringing you my top 10 styles of easy Christmas nail art for you to choose from. There's a style and a method for every level of expertise, from absolute beginners to the experts. Let me know down below which is your favourite. I'm going to begin with the beginners, if that makes sense. And this one is so easy. Links to all of the products used in the video, including what's on my nails, is in the description down below. But first, after applying a white base to the nail, I'm going in with an orange and a fine detail brush, and we're going to do a triangle shape with a rounded end, and this is to make our carrot nose. With a large dotting tool, simply put on 2 large dots of black for eyes. And then with the medium dotting tool, we're going to start in the centre for the mouth and then go up to the sides. I'm going to start at the centre because that makes the biggest dot, and then they get smaller as you go along. Once it's dry, we're going to apply our top coat, and I tend to do this by dabbing it on the areas with the most art first and then drawing it over the whole nail, and that helps to prevent any smearing, especially with colours and detailing like this. Because there was a tiny little bit of glitter, I just kept stroking the excess top coat off until I could get that tiny little black piece of glitter. There it goes, it's nearly off. And that's the finished look. How quick and simple is that? Brilliant. Look number 2, I've applied a base colour of like a duck egg blue. I'm going in with my white and my fine detail brush, and I'm just going along the end of the tip. All of these looks would look fantastic on short nails as well, so don't worry if you don't have long nails at all. What I'm doing at the base here is applying like a snowscape, and then that will give us an area to work from to create our next snowman. Then I'm going in with a large dotting tool. Now you have a choice here. You can either do a large dotting tool and go round and round with it, and then do a smaller one above, and that's for the head. If you want to make it a bit more perfect, you can go in with a fine detail brush like I'm doing here and smooth out those lines around the outside edges. I'm just going to actually take my snowscape up a little bit so the snowman is sitting on the snow, and then with a needlepoint dotting tool I'm adding tiny little white dots for snowflakes. Then I'm taking some sky blue, again with my fine detail brush, and just doing a little line around the neck area of the snowman, and then I'm going to go off with a little bit of a tick at the side, and that's for the tail of the scarf. With a black, we're going to draw a line across the top of the snowman head, and then we're going to go back in and draw a sort of little tiny rectangle, and that's to make the top of the hat. Add extra detailing to the hat to make it exactly how you want it before going in with a fine dotting tool and adding some kohl on the belly, and 2 eyes, and then some tiny little dots for a mouth. Finally, take your fine dotting tool and an orange and add tiniest little carrot nose. Before, again, I'm applying top coat first to the area with the most art and then drawing the excess over the whole nail. Allow to dry, and there we have our intermediate. Finally, we're going for our advanced snowman, snowwoman, snowperson. And I'm beginning first with the middle of the snowman. And this is going to be our medium-sized circle. Then I'm going to do a slightly larger one underneath. And just because of the size of these circles, I do find it easier to hand paint it than use a dotting tool. Also, you can keep tweaking it with a bit of extra polish until you're really happy with the look. Keep going till you're happy with the balance of the large dot at the bottom and the medium one. Then add a snowscape at the bottom, and then add a smaller dot or circle at the top for the head. Keep going until you are happy with the shape and the dimensions. And you can see here I'm a bit of a faffer, but that's fine, don't worry. Even if it looks a little bit lumpy, it will be covered up with top coat after. Fill in your snowscape at the bottom, And then we're ready to start adding some detailing. With a brown and a fine detail brush, I'm going to add some stick arms, and these are really easy. If you start on the white bit before drawing out to the sides, it gives a more three-dimensional look. Add some forks into the branches to make it look more realistic. And when you're happy with the design, go over again to thicken up all the branches. Repeat again on the other side, but then add the extra detailing, and there's our stick arms. I'm going to add the nose this time just because it's going to be a bit easier to work out where to put our eyes and our mouth if the nose is added first. And then we're going to do our hat again with just the fine detail brush and your black polish. I'm going to add the top of the hat. Now you have a choice whether you do like a shorter hat, which is more of a bowler hat, or if you want, you can extend it up and make it a little bit more crooked so it looks like a slightly old and battered top hat. Using a fine dotting tool, add 2 eyes, then add some dots for the mouth, add some dots down the centre to make kohl on the belly, and then with this gorgeous red, I'm just going to add a band across the top hat to look like a ribbon. Now this is where it gets a little bit special. I'm going in with a really pale grey, and I'm just going to add some extra detailing, and this gives a really three-dimensional effect. Adding this shading at chosen parts between the balls of snow, round the neck area, and under the hat will add some detailing and make it look much more three-dimensional. You can even add it to the snowdrift below, and that gives that real look of snowdrifts that have blown in the wind. Feel free to go back in and add any extra detailing that you want. With a fine detail dotting tool, add some snowflakes if you want to. And once you're happy with the look, leave it to dry. Then again, I'm applying the top coat first over the snowman, and then drawing the excess top coat over the rest of the nail to prevent smearing. I love the look of this snowman. This is definitely my favourite. How cute is he? Full links to all the products are in the description, but after applying a red base, I'm going in with a sparkly red, and this is one of my favourites. This is detailed in the description, along with everything else I use. Once it's dry, I'm going in with this beautiful metallic. Now it is a gold, but it's almost like a rose gold. And I'm just using my fine detail brush from Dixie Girl, and I'm just applying a nice straight line, and then of course you can't turn your finger around if it's a real finger, but I'm turning this around to make it a bit easier to show you on camera. I'm going to apply another line across the nail, and I've set the cross slightly across to the side here. You could do the bow right in the centre of the nail, but I like the traditional look of doing it across the side. Then we're going to go in and actually do the beautiful parts of the bow. And you're just going to do a sweep round. If you can do it all in one go, fabulous. Don't worry if you can't, though, I'll show you another method. And then just a little sweep out to the side like an arch. And then I'm going to turn this around to show you the other way of doing it. And that's where you do one half of that bow first, and then the other half meet it up. It's almost like a teardrop. And then again, just do a nice little sweeping arch. And there we have it. Then we're just going to add a generous slick of top coat over the whole nail. This actually looks very much like what I'm wearing on my nails at the moment, but it actually isn't. And whilst that polish is still wet, I'm going to apply a beautiful gold crystal into the centre of that bow, just for some extra sparkle. How quick and easy is that? It's absolutely perfect for even total beginners, and for nail techs to throw in a bit of extra art for a few extra pounds or dollars over the Christmas season without making yourself run late. After applying a black base, and links to all of the products I've used in this video are in the description down below, taking a fine detail brush and a green polish, I'm doing a line down the centre of the nail, and then doing sweeping brush strokes out to the side of the nail. And this is to create that sort of tree shape. You can change the design to suit how you like it, but I like this method and it gives a really full, effective Christmas tree. To add a little definition, you can add a little black into your polish if you want to give a shadowing effect. Once you're happy with the greenery, take a brown polish and do a little square for the trunk, and then I'm taking a shimmery red polish and making a little pot at the bottom of the tree trunk. Then I'm taking a lighter green and just adding some definition, and I've mixed the green with a little bit of white to give a sort of marbled effect. Then taking a different red, I'm going to add some detailing to that little plant pot at the bottom there. And you can see I'm doing it all with the same brush. And then a darker brown to add some detailing to the trunk. Taking a shimmery and sparkly red, I'm just going to sort of stipple it across the tree to give the effect of tinsel. I'm applying a dot of that at the top and then sticking a tiny little star sequin right at the top there. Once it's dry, apply a generous layer of top coat over the whole nail before applying some Swarovski crystals to look like beautiful shimmering sparkling baubles. I decided to do some different colours down the tree, and that one there I've just applied goes all different colours in the light. It's so pretty. And there is the finished look. How effective and how simple is that? All the products are linked in the description down below, including the details of the colours already applied to the nails. Going to begin with a black nail polish and a fine detail brush, applying some squiggly lines across those nails. Add little dots like triangles at each end of the wiggly bits on the lines. And then we're going to go in with some basic colours. You can choose whatever you would like for your fairy lights, but I'm doing all of this design with the same nail art brush. And I'm just trying to apply like a teardrop effect at the end of each of the little black dots. Alternate the colours so they start to look like fairy lights or like Stranger Things fairy lights. If you don't have a fine detail nail art brush, there's a link in the top right corner of how you can make your own. Or you could use a dotting tool or cocktail stick. And just go in with some different colours. I've chosen to use red, blue, yellow and green, but you could use pastels or anything that you fancy. Once you're happy that your shape of your lights all looks relatively the same on each one, allow to dry, ready to add some 3D detailing. And then I'm going in with some white, and then I've just dipped my brush in a little bit of acetone to thin down that white to make it easier to apply. And I'm just doing a tiny little line of light on the side of each of the light bulbs before top coating. And there you have it, a perfect nail design or feature nail for Christmas, which is so quick and easy. We're going to start with the beginner's nail, and this is a gorgeous colour underneath that's from Fun Lacquer, and all the products I'm using are labelled down in the description below. First, taking a dotting tool and a lovely red polish, I'm going to add some dots to make berries, and then taking a dotting tool again, I'm just going to make some holly leaves. If you don't have a dotting tool, I do have a link in the top right corner of how to make your own nail art tools, or you can use a brush if you prefer, and I'm just going to create the shape of a holly leaf. Don't worry if you can't get this too perfect, you can add an extra detailing afterwards, and you may find this easier to do with a brush if you have one. I just wanted to show you with a dotting tool so you could use anything you had at home, whether it's a cocktail stick or a bobby pin or anything like that. Then I'm adding a different colour green over the top for some detailing on the leaves, and I'm doing this with a fine detail brush from Dixie Girl, and we're just adding a few veins onto those leaves. If you don't have lots of different colours of green, you could just add some black or some white to your existing green for the detailing. Then I'm going to add a generous layer of top coat, and just for a little bit extra, I'm going to add some lovely Swarovski crystals just where the holly berries are. And you can see that these add a real beautiful extra detailing. You don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I just think it makes it look that little bit extra special. Leave it to dry and you have a perfect holly accent nail. Next, on the intermediate, I'm taking a fine dotting tool and my favourite red polish for this one again. As I said before, all these products are listed in the description down below. I'm just doing some little groups of 3 dots over the nail, and then using a fine detail brush and a green polish, I'm going to do tiny little holly leaves. These are very simple to do. As you can see, I start off with a V shape, and then a sort of little sweep or an arch on each side, and then another little V at the end and fill it in. And again, we're just going to do a little V shape, and then an arch on each side, and then another V at the end, and then fill it in. We're just going to repeat this over the whole nail, And for this look, I'm deliberately leaving a little bit of a gap between the holly leaves and the berries, just because I like the way it looks on this design. Keep going until you've applied holly leaves to all of the holly berries on the nail. Then using a white, I'm just going to add some tiny little sort of light reflection on the berries and a little detailing onto the leaves. If you need to thin down any of the white or the green to be able to do this really detailed, add a tiny bit of acetone to your brush after picking up the colour. Then I'm applying my generous layer of top coat over the whole lot and allow to dry. And there you have your perfect holly accent nails. Now onto the advanced nail. I'm going to be doing a French tip, which is why it's a bit more advanced. And you can see here I do my French tip by doing a sweep from one side, lining it up and doing a sweep from the other side. And then, because I am using a silver, what I'm going to do is draw down vertically to make sure that that lovely silver pigment is even over the whole tip. Once that's dry, I'm going in with a holographic top coat just to add a little bit of extra sparkle. And again, once you're happy with that and you've got a nice layer of glitter sprinkled over the top, just allow for it to dry. I'm going to go in my red and a large dotting tool and apply 3 dots for holly berries in the centre of that French tip. Then getting a green polish and my fine detail nail art brush, again I'm going to do a holly leaf by doing a V, a little arch on each side and another V at the other end, and then filling it in. I'm following the line of the French tip to put the holly leaf just because then it makes it look a little bit more elegant. This is a great idea for you people that would love to have a little Christmas nail art but maybe work doesn't allow it. You can just add this on 1 or 2 fingers and it looks really elegant and chic. Once you're happy with your holly leaf shape, you can add some extra detailing in. And I've created this colour for the detailing on the leaves by just adding a little black to the green that I used for the leaves. All I'm doing is a line up the centre of the nail, and then I'm taking another little line into each of the points and one in between. Then a tiny bit of white that's been mixed with some acetone just to add a few highlights on that nail. Before I'm going to go in with my generous layer of top coat, apply over the whole nail. And you can see it really starts to make that design and the glitter pop. And then I'm going to take my crystal katana and some Swarovski crystals and just add them to where the holly berries are for an extra bit of sparkle this Christmas. Begin by applying a base colour of a gorgeous blue, this is one of my favourites, and then I'm going in with some gold glittery polish over the top. And full links to all of the products used in this video are in the description down below. Then using a fine detail brush and a gold, I'm going to first create a cross, and this is to make the star. And then I'm sort of blending the lines of the cross together, as you can see here, and starting to elongate some of the points of the star. When that's dried, go in with a bit more gold glitter polish just from the star down. It's almost like you want light rays sprinkling down. Then taking a black and a fine detail brush, I'm going to create some little outbuildings. For this, I'm just starting with doing like a sort of point arrow at the top for a roof and then filling it in with black underneath. Refine the roof for how you want it and add some more detailing around. Then taking my gold, I'm going to apply it to the top of the rooftop to look like the starlight hitting the rooftops. Once you're happy with that, add some star rays coming down. And this is sort of just to add to the effect really, to make it sort of really look like that starlight is shining down on the buildings. And then taking some more of the gold, I'm going to add on some more rays. Before I elongate the star a little bit more, you can play with this until you're totally happy with it. I'm a fiddler. I fiddle a lot, what can I say? When you're finally happy with the star, apply some windows, which are just little squares, and then I'm going to apply sort of almost like a loft detailing, just to give the appearance of either an outbuilding or lots of windows. When you're happy with it, apply top coat over the whole design, and whilst that top coat is still wet, I'm going to go in with a little gold crystal and apply it to the wet top coat. Leave it to dry, and there you have your beautiful nativity scene. I've started by applying a black base, and full links to all the products I've used in this video are in the description down below. And then taking the white polish on the brush, I'm simply doing a sort of half oval shape, followed by taking a large dotting tool with the white and doing 2 more little ovals. Don't worry if they're not perfect, it gives a cute effect. And then I'm taking my fine detail brush and an orange and doing sort of like 2 rounded squares at the bottom for feet. And then a teeny tiny little triangle just for that lovely little beak there. And as you can see, you can fiddle until you're really happy with the shape of that beak. So I decided after I did it a bit small that I wanted it a little bit bigger. And then taking a medium dotting tool, I'm applying a black dot to the bottom of each of the eyes. And this is where you do have to be a little bit careful, because if they don't match up, it can look a bit like the eyes are a bit strange. So I went in and applied a little bit more black. When that's dry, apply a tiny little white dot in the eyes and then cover with top coat. Apply a lovely generous layer, and I always apply a generous layer because it hides all the brush strokes, and then allow to dry. I've begun by applying a gorgeous gold to the nails, and then I'm going in with this lovely sort of light brown, and full links to all of the products including their names are in the description down below. All I'm doing here is trying to produce a sort of, I'd say an overly round shape. I'm trying to produce the head of the reindeer. It doesn't have to be too perfect, you can see that you can fiddle about with it until you're happy. Then I'm going in with a fine detail brush and applying 2 little rounded triangles for ears, 1 on each side. And at this stage it does look a little bit like a cat, but don't worry, we're going to pull that back. I decided to apply some tufts of hair to the top, but you don't have to do that. Then going in with a darker brown and my fine detail brush, I'm going to apply some antlers. A little known fact for you, as it always shows the pictures of Father Christmas having reindeer with antlers pulling his sleigh. If they do indeed have antlers, they must be female reindeer, because male reindeer lose their antlers in the winter. I'm just doing these like branches, and they do not have to match. I'm doing them slightly different on each side, just as they are in real life. Remember to thicken them out slightly so they look really effective. And then using the same brown, I'm just going to apply a little line on each of the ears to add some definition. Then with a large dotting tool and a white, I'm going to apply 2 large dots roughly underneath where the antlers begin. And then with one of my favourite sparkly red nail polishes, I'm going to do a large oval nose. If you have any problems with the nose and you want to even it out, you can go in with a fine detail brush. Then taking a black and a medium dotting tool, I'm going to apply 2 black dots into each of the white to make eyes. And then going in with a fine detail dotting tool, I'm going to apply 2 white dots to make those eyes lovely and sparkly. Finally, once it's dry, I'm going to apply a generous helping of top coat over the whole of that nail. Once you're happy with the look, allow to dry, and your reindeer nails are finished. And these are so cute. I do love reindeer nails, they were always popular in my salon every Christmas. After applying a flesh base colour, and all details to all the products are in the description down below, I'm going straight in with the red, and I'm just going to do it roughly around the cuticle area and then draw across sort of with a rough straight line. It doesn't have to be perfect, you'll see why in just a moment. And if you're wanting to know what I'm wearing on my nails, that's also detailed in the description. Once you're happy that you've got a nice even red along the top, we're going to take a large dotting tool and a white, and we're just going to apply dots roughly up and down, sort of wiggly, across that white line to blend it in. If you can't already tell, what we're doing here is producing Father Christmas's hat, or for those of you in the US, Santa. Once you're happy that you've produced your nice fluffy white line along the top, do the same down the sides, about 3 dots on each side roughly. And my polish is just getting a little bit thick underneath the studio lights, yours probably won't do this. And then we're going to do a rough line across, and this is to produce the beard. And then just to fill it in down the bottom with the actual brush. If you have shorter nails, you may not need to do this. make any last minute alterations, and then we're going to add with a medium dotting tool 2 black dots for eyes. And with the large dotting tool, we're going to add a little pink nose. Then I'm adding a tiny bit of sparkly white to the eyes, just to give that sort of twinkle effect. And we're going to leave it to dry. Once it's dry, apply a generous layer of your favourite top coat over the whole nail. And once that's applied and set, your Father Christmas nails are finished. How cute are these? These are so quick. Did you see how quick and easy that was? They look complicated, but they're really not. I've applied this beautiful base colour, and links to all the products are in the description down below. And then using my fine detail brush, I'm going in with my favourite white polish, and first I'm just creating a cross. Then I'm going to go back in and do diagonal lines between each of the existing lines, and this is to create my snowflake design. Then to add some detailing to the snowflake, I'm going to add some lines, but make sure it's symmetrical. And go on the opposite side and do the same. You do not have to copy exactly how I've done these, you can do it however you fancy. Add some more detailing to the beautiful bits of snowflake in between. And keep going until you're happy with the design. When you think your snowflake is looking just about perfect, and I think this one is, I'm going to go in with the dotting tool and add a few dots in some key areas. Again, you can choose where you put these and whether or not you do them. Once you're happy with that look, allow it to dry. And then we're going to go in with some snowflakes around the nail. Then add a generous slick of top coat. And whilst it's still wet, we're going to take our crystal katana and some different sized crystal AB Swarovski crystals and add them onto that snowflake for an extra bit of sparkle. I pick the crystal ABs because it's the Aurora Borealis and it shimmers so many beautiful different colours. Allow it to dry, and there is your finished snowflake nail. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this Christmas easy nail art compilation. Please let me know down below which ones are your favourites. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not yet subscribed, then hit that subscribe button and press the tiny little bell next to it to get notifications of every time I upload. And I will see you all very, very soon.